My 5-year vision has been the same for 7 years now. That means that my 5-year vision could have, should have come true by now, but it hasn't. I love the idea of just starting, which brings me to this video with you today. Just starting means to do the thing. It means that instead of waiting for the right conditions, that we just start. There's a common view in the personal finance world that a lot of people will say, well, I'm going to wait until I make more money to save 10% of my income. It's kind of like people saying, well, I'm going to wait until I'm skinny to start working out, which actually some people do say that because they feel self-conscious or whatnot, or maybe it's just too painful on their joints. So no shade intended. It's just that this is one of the grand, let's say, counterintuitive mind tricks of the human mind is we oftentimes just have to do the thing. And there's this interesting relationship between us and the divine or the universe that it's kind of like the universe is ready to give us a lot. Maybe not like everything. I mean, I hope to be 6'4" so I could play hockey in the NHL, and that didn't happen. But pretty much everything I think the universe is willing to give us or give us that or something better. It does require us, though, to take the first step. I'm reminded of a funny kind of metaphor or parable of, someone's crossing their arms and saying, well, I'm not going to put any logs on the fire until I start feeling some heat. The context I've heard that before is more so people in life saying, well, I'm not going to do that. That's not my job description. Or I'm not going to do that because, I haven't seen any proof that it's possible or something. And so hey, there's versions of that that are perfectly legitimate for sure. More often than not, though, in my life, I have found that I have to be willing to say, I'm going to put logs into this fire pit even if there is no fire. And I'm going to keep putting logs on until the moment is right and myself or someone comes along who has a match and can light it. It's kind of like the standard preparation meeting opportunity equals luck, right? Or said differently, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So doing the thing. I'm reminded of Stephen King's book on writing. I read that book so long ago. It's the only nonfiction book Stephen King ever wrote. And in the book, Stephen King describes his writing process. One thing that really struck me from his writing process is that he writes every single day of the year. The only exception is, I believe it's Christmas Day. If it's not Christmas Day, it'd be New Year's Day. Every single day. And I can't remember what his rule is for himself, if it's 400 words or something like that. And so, a person could say, well, I don't have an English degree or, I don't have a publisher or I don't have an editor and, I'll start writing a book when. Well, the interesting thing is it's by doing a lot of writing in the first place that would put a person at the skill level that would then maybe even remotely create the possibility of attracting an editor or a publisher. So once again, it's just do the thing. I'm also reminded of Jerry Seinfeld, the comedian. Jerry was once asked his opinion on what he thought about kind of colleges giving out certifications in comedy, as in like there's some academic credential you can get for learning some mechanics of humor. And Jerry was kind of like puzzled by this. And he said, well, what do comics do? They do two things. They write jokes and they tell jokes. That's it. And so if you want to be a comedian, then do what comedians do. And what comedians do is write jokes and tell jokes. And if you're going to be a comedian and you're going to be professional, then we should probably do that every single day. And so every single day, if you want to be a comedian, write jokes, tell jokes. I guess that brings me back to this video right now. I have learned how to do video editing at a definitely above average level. I once hosted a TV show all the way back in 2005. More recently, I actually created a documentary of my girlfriend's life, and that was like 100 hours of work. I did about probably 80 of those hours of work. So I'm no stranger to video editing. And there's actually a dark side to knowing quite a lot about video editing, is that your standards go up and up, and the complexity with which I'm doing edits can be quite involved, where I'm getting, B-roll video plus custom music, plus I'm like reaching out to people I've never met before to interview them, plus I'm also pulling in like motion graphics, plus I'm thinking about how do things get scripted so we get maximum retention, plus. And it means that creating content goes from being a inspired act in the moment to being like a whole production. And unfortunately, that has gotten the better of me on many occasions, including this week. Earlier today, I was speaking with my girlfriend, Leslie. I was very short with her. It is not the man I want to be with her or for her. And it dawned on me that the reason I was short with her, like I was just so impatient, is because I'm exhausted. I'm not my full and certainly not my best self right now. And so why am I exhausted? Because all that beautiful editing I just shared with you, I've been putting in hours every single night. My sleep last night was, I think, 4 hours. The night before that was 3 hours, 45 minutes, 4 hours. I think it's like 3-4 nights in a row have all been like 4 hours of sleep. And it's because I've got this passion to do the thing, creating content here, and I want to do it every single day. And I know how to do it at a pretty high level, and that means that I'm now putting in 4 hours to edit one video, 5 hours, 7.5 hours was the video 2 nights ago. So like, oh my word, this is not sustainable. I mean, I have a business to run. I have employees, I have clients, there's a lot going on, just like I'm sure there is in your world. So to add something that's going to take up 4 to 7 hours, and I want to do it every single day and night, that's literally a full-time job. 7 hours a day times 5 days, that's 35 hours. And if I want to do it every day, that's 7 days, that's 49 hours in a week, and that's all just for developing this skill. Now, there's something commendable about saying, hey, get the 10,000 hours in. However, something's broken right now. When I'm so tired that if I'm getting 4 hours of sleep a night, and I'm so tired that I am snippy with the people that I love, that doesn't work anymore. So that also brings me to this episode. Maybe you've noticed there's zero editing. In fact, the only editing I allowed myself was to cut the start and the end, so that all that awkward, like, oh, is this thing on, right? I'll cut that off the start, I'll cut that off the end, but aside from that, no edits. And I have to tell you that it's been kind of tricky. Like, even as I'm here with you, I'm like, ooh, I should put up some B-roll of here or some subtitles there, or we could definitely, I could have a prop in my hand here, and like all those different tactics to level up a video. I'm just like sitting on the hands and like, nope, not allowed, not for this one, maybe the next one, but not this one. And I got to say, it is confronting, because I know what I can create, and it's beautiful and it's groovy when there's a cool soundtrack in the background. And I think about some of the like Instagram reels and other day in the life videos I've created. Like, oh, those are so fantastic. Like, just capturing life and put it together in a really fun and exciting way is awesome. It's so awesome. And like the pinnacle of that was spending basically 100 hours on my girlfriend's life documentary. That was amazing to learn so much along the way on how to do it and to create this beautiful thing that's like literally brought tears to her eyes, and she's shared it with her friends and family. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, wow, this is incredible. This feels so good. In the last few days, I've been really struggling, not just with editing and all the pieces that go with that, the pre-production like scripting as well. I've just been even wrestling with like, what do I even want with YouTube? What is the right fit for me? Is it a daily vlog? Is it a once a week vlog? Is it not vlogs at all? Is it just talking head like we're doing here today? Is it mini docs of different entrepreneurs and their stories? What is it? And I don't have the answer yet. What I do know though is for 7 years, I've had a 5-year vision. I believe in entrepreneurs so wholeheartedly, and I believe that the flame of inspiration inside every entrepreneur is something to be cherished. It is one of the most precious and vital and important forces literally in modern life. I think that flame for entrepreneurs, sometimes it burns really bright. Things are going well. We're getting breakthroughs. It feels like we're winning. And then there's other times when that flame feels like it is quite small. Life is hard. We've got friction every single day. Sometimes every direction we look, it's just friction, friction, friction. And especially if we're in a spot where we don't have any money at that given time, it's just like chronic anxiety, right? And then there's a level even lower than that where it's like, I wonder if I should just quit. And I've been in that spot a couple times on my entrepreneur journey. When I say a couple times, that you might hear that as like for a couple days. No, I mean like a couple times where it was like stretches of 3 months, 6 months, So I really believe that A, I got to do the thing. B, consistency of the thing is crucial. And C, whatever we want from the universe is going to give us that or better. And we need to put the first foot forward before we get anything back. So what is this 5-year goal, this 5-year vision I've had for 7 years and still haven't, I would say, actively built yet? Well, I love entrepreneurs. I love truth. I love mastery. I love storytelling, and I love video. So putting all that together, I, for years, have wanted to have some kind of a TV show. And by saying TV show, I don't know. In fact, it probably would not be legacy media, standard, TV network type stuff. I think it will be probably a Netflix series or a really well done, YouTube series or channel. In that, I imagine it being for entrepreneurs. I imagine that there's incredible lessons about truth and mastery in entrepreneurship. It's going to be for entrepreneurs who are in the thrilling pursuit of excellence. And it's for entrepreneurs who want to be like a pro CEO. Not someone who just kind of like is in it to do, come up with a couple product ideas and do some launches and buy some ads and hope it all works out. Like, no, I want entrepreneurs who want to be what I call CEO responsible. CEO responsible to me is responsible for the whole thing. If all you want to do is score touchdowns, then be the quarterback. If, however, you want to focus on winning games, then you got to learn about offense and defense. You should be the coach. If you want to win the season, then you probably want to think about winning games, offense, defense, who's on the farm team, what talent could we call up, how's the salary cap, all of that. And if that's the case, don't be the quarterback, don't be the coach, be the manager, right? Be the manager. Now, if on top of that, you're wanting to do all of those things, but also be known as a great member of the community where there's grassroots programs to bring attention to your sports team, and you want to turn around and give back into the community, then be the president of the team, not the quarterback, not the coach, not the manager. Now, on the flip side, if you are looking to do all of those things, but also turn this sports team into an incredible asset, then you're going to need to be negotiating TV deals, and you're going to need to negotiate with city council to get a new stadium or arena. You're going to need to make sure that all the are there concussion lawsuits, are there class action lawsuits against yourself or the league? And if that's the case, you're going to be pro CEO responsible, then don't be the quarterback, don't be the manager, don't be the coach, but be the owner. Be the owner CEO of the team. And that's the entrepreneur that I want to speak to. Not someone who's going to say, oh, well, that's not my zone of genius, or I'm not a math person or whatnot. No, that's not what we're doing here. That's not what we're doing here. When I imagine the TV show, I also imagine there being a documentary storytelling element to it, where we go into the home, into the business, into the field per se of an entrepreneur who is frustrated and bumping into issues. That we can take a look at their financials. Ideally, we do it live here and say, okay, they've got this issue because their margins are too small. Okay, so what are some things we can do to fix that? They've got a lot of really great customers, they're doing great work, but they're not getting paid fast enough. What can we do about that? And simply walk through what changes need to happen for that business to be much more successful. And I don't just mean financially. I mean customers happier, staff happier, better financial performance for the business, the market value equity, what is the value of this business is even going up as well. So, I'm looking for the total entrepreneur. In the TV show, I'm thinking it would be incredible to have turnaround stories. The closest I can think of right now would be Marcus Lemonis at The Profit. And I think I would also like to share inspiring stories, to storytell the moments where an entrepreneur almost lost it all and what they did to come back and what they learned about themselves and learned about others. I think that would be a really amazing part of the channel as well. Now, of course, I have no idea how this is going to happen. There's versions of what I'm talking about that could cost $50,000 per episode. I happen to know a friend of mine here in Austin. He was the producer and the inventor of a show that was on primetime TV. And yeah, he's oh yeah, we spent I think it was $60,000 an episode for a full network cable level production TV show, $60,000. And he didn't have a lot of visual effects. This was not, Lord of the Rings, or Avatar, or Game of Thrones or something like that. No. It wasn't just an interview series, but it's pretty close to that, So I don't see myself spending $60,000 an episode or even $10,000 an episode. But I guess that's how it goes. I will start here, me recording with the camera I've got and with maybe some spoken lessons, and we'll see where it goes from there. In my heart, I want to do this every day. My early signs are that I really shouldn't do this every day. And yet, I just feel a pull because I just want to do the thing and I just want to be consistent. And every time I've done that, great things have happened in my life. I can't promise I'll be here every single day. The days that I'm here, I can't promise that the editing is going to be particularly spectacular. But I'm going to do my damnedest to at least get something that's meaningful, valuable, and is speaking to the heart, your heart from my heart, on what I understand to be the truth of life and entrepreneurship, and in a way that stokes mastery, not just for you, but for me as well. There's a great expression that when one person teaches, two people learn, as in the teacher learns and the pupil learns. And that's one of the great gifts of the amount of teaching that I get to do on a day-to-day basis. So here's my first ever no edit video. And if you want to follow on this journey, do like and subscribe. That just helps immensely. And my final thought is, I would love to just hang with you when you're doing the dishes. I would love to hang with you if you're brushing your teeth. Just throw this on your phone and may we hang out together. Hopefully every day or close to every day. And instead of sports highlights or some other who knows what stuff playing on your phone, we can spend this quality time together instead. And you've got my full commitment. One of my good friends calls me the resource man. And so you can count on me to bring tons of insights from my life as an entrepreneur for 15 years. Some very, very hard-earned lessons so that I can hope that I can help you to elevate and really feel proud of who you are and what you're up to in this world. Thank you so much.